Mic audio. Do I have to turn the audio up on the mic? Is that it? Maybe you can hear me now. I see OBS telling me that the microphone is higher. How about now? So, okay, you can hear me now. Are the levels good? Higher, lower, mic check, 1, 2, all that stuff that we normally do for web devs. Okay, it looks like stream's telling me it's good. Good. We're gonna get started here shortly. I'm gonna give it a few more minutes and then we'll get started. A little soft, Bao says. Maybe I should turn it up then, Bao? Is that what you're saying? So, go louder. Okay, I hear you. Gonna go a little louder, and that's a lot louder. Well, no, that's probably fine. Actually, that's probably better. Hi, Ryan. I see you in stream. Hope everybody's doing well. Where's the pizza? Ryan wants to know, huh? Okay. Yeah, it's didn't do the delivery since IDX isn't sponsoring it. I should have gotten myself some pizza though. Curbside pizza service? Nope. I need an online sponsor, a YouTube sponsor. IDX sponsors it when it's in the building. Wait, where am I? I am I'm actually at the IDX building. There's nobody here, but I wanted the faster, stabler internet. So I'm in one of the conference rooms, all by my own stuff. Should have pulled the slicer to the left. Yeah, I kind of, y'all making me hungry now. Keep talking about pizza, and now I'm really missing it. Shot Night, I'll sponsor a pizza if you write my name in giant letters on the whiteboard. That seems good. Shot Night? Yeah. Where at? Right here? There you go. Oops. Well, great, Sean. Now I have to sit off to the side so people can see your name through the whole thing. It's gonna be fun. It'll be in the background the whole video at least. All right, it's 6:30, so I think I'm just gonna get started. This is AR Pizza. That'd be a good talk. I did an AR talk a while ago. Maybe I should update it with pizza as the goal. I hope it's entertaining. All right, stream. Let's get started. Oh, no, sit in the middle. It's product placement. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, I gotta move so you can see. Sponsor this stream sponsored by Sean Knight. He is sponsoring a pizza that I will be getting. Not going to be sharing. If you want to up his sponsorship, go ahead and let him know in the comments or in the chat that he needs to sponsor enough pizza for everybody. Oh yeah, there's a big delay on the chat and stream. I noticed that too. I don't know why. This is my first YouTube, so I have a boomer. Okay, so let's just get started. Thanks for watching, everybody. Everybody who's hungry for pizza, apparently. Normally, obviously, this is normally a in real life meetup, but everybody's a content creator now on YouTube, so we are too. Today, I'm going to be talking about Lighthouse um, and improving websites with it. So it's been interesting to research. Does more than I thought it did, and I've been using it for a while. I think there's a compelling argument for it. So let's just jump right in. Let me change this up. And so that's our topic: improving websites with Lighthouse scoring. So improving websites seems like a loaded word, like implying that your website's not good if you don't get good Lighthouse scores. That's not necessarily true. All of these are Google's opinions for the most part. Some of them make a lot of sense, but I use the word improving with the Lighthouse scoring because most of their suggestions will make your website just better. So let's get going. So the first thing is, what is Lighthouse? If you don't know what it is, it's a pretty generic name, so it's not a super super specific thing to look up anymore. So Lighthouse, this is a Google added tool. They added it to Chrome, and this is for site evaluation, audits of websites. This produces scores and even gives advice on how to improve. And when I say gives advice, I mean they really just straight up give you advice, like links to articles on what you can do specifically for the scores. And I'll show you some of those suggestions later that they just link out, which is really nice. They use it in their page speed insights, which some of you may have tried. This is a website that will just give you a generic score, one score instead of several scores like Lighthouse will. This is the Oregon DMV. This is their website. I did this just the other day. Their page speed score is not great. Hopefully they could make some improvement if they're watching. Improvements with using Lighthouse. I hope they're watching. But it gives you a generic one score. It will still give you all the advice, but Lighthouse scoring is what powers the Google PageSpeed Insights. So how is that important, right? Well, we all hate waiting. Everybody hates waiting. Nobody likes to wait. Google has put some time and effort, and we want Google to like us. We also want our clients to like us. Clients and anybody who's not the web developer probably like a very simple score. It's really easy to communicate. You get a grade. We're all used to grades from 0 to 100. And we want Google to like us, and Google is literally telling us what kind of things they're looking for. There's no guarantees, obviously. This is all very opinionated by Google, but they're still the ones running the search engine we use, and this will continue. Anything they do will continually be important as long as we're still using Google as a verb. So the second we stop using Google as a verb, we start saying like you should Bing that subject, maybe then this is less important. But until then, this is going to be important because Google says. So this is a Google project, and it hit NPM like 8 years ago. It goes on to become a Chrome extension after more development, and then into the powering the page speed insights. And now it's just part of the Chrome browser. So if you have Chrome, if you have the browser, you have Lighthouse. You already do. It just ships with all the latest updates to Chrome. So you can use it right now just by going into the inspect tools and audits, and it's right there. One thing that's important. I want to set a reasonable expectation here. Is not everybody gets a perfect score, even Google here. So I ran this on Google's main site, and there's really not much there, but it still has some room for improvement. So if you don't get 100%, that's not the biggest deal. This doesn't directly affect like search rank or anything like that. This is all suggestions and opinions from Google. So just a little context there of how seriously to take these scores. They are cool, but getting a perfect score is probably a lot more work than it may be worth. But what do the scores even mean, right? So we have these simple things. We all know 100's good. It's green. Green means good. Red means bad. And 0 is bad. So but what do they mean like in a nutshell? Because even though they're simple to understand that 90 to 100 is the best part of the scoring, possible scoring, what is that? What is the 90 to 100? So those numbers are going to be related to pretty much these concepts. There's probably a little bit more and a lot more if you dig into the different weights of categories they have. So performance is really going to be talking a lot about load speed. That's going to be the main thing for it. Accessibility is going to be ability to access and enjoy the web is kind of how Google describes it. And these are things like, is it readable for people with impaired vision, uh, any vision issues, and alt tags for the hearing impaired. Best practices, that's just straight up defined by Google. Like, I don't have a good definition of that one because Google probably has their own doc that I'm not allowed to see. SEO, search engine optimization, we've all heard that term. That's a been around forever, and they just give you a score on it. And progressive web app. I'm not going to talk too much about progressive web apps. They're a different kind of approach to building websites over traditional just loading up HTML and stuff. They really want to act more like an app, and Google has their own opinions and scores on that. There's a lot of different weights that go into these, and Google does have a spreadsheet that there'll be a link to in my GitHub repo for this talk, and I'll put the link to the GitHub repo down below in the description later. So when you run a Lighthouse audit in the Chrome browser, you get some options. You're going to get the categories to run: performance, best practice, accessibility, SEO. I unchecked here progressive web app because I'm not testing that today. And the device, mobile or desktop. So mobile is the default, and on the Google page speed test, it is mobile is the default because more and more of the traffic these days on the internet is going to mobile. You can test for desktop if you, for whatever reason, just don't have a reason for testing for mobile and you just don't care about it. That's fine. You have the option of just doing desktop. Clear storage is for other audits that have happened. And the one that's interesting, I think, is simulated throttling. So simulated throttling, when enabled, you can then choose how much to throttle the bandwidth that the browser gets to use. And this is so you can more closely reproduce the conditions that your users might be in. So if your users are in a place that, like another country that doesn't have as good internet infrastructure, or maybe in a rural area where they don't even get DSL, you can throttle your tests down to more accurately test how they're getting your websites. And then you can make adjustments to try to compensate. So that's pretty cool. It's a fun feature. So all these measurements have design impact on performance and tips to help the user experience aspects. What I mean by that weird sentence is all the design things, usually they come at a cost of performance, and all the optimal performance things usually don't look that pretty. So we try to get the best of both worlds for the user. And Google understands this and is trying to save everyone from themselves and for the benefit of the user experience, which will get more views on the page. People will share it more. It'll become a more popular page. Google probably ranks it higher. I'm not sure, but probably if there's more traffic and all those things. So Google's Lighthouse opinions are really focused towards user experience aspects. The first thing they want to know is, or one of the things they report on SEO is, because can a user even find your site? So an example of this going awry is leaving the meta tag of no index on your site after development. And I've actually seen this a lot in production sites where it just, for whatever reason, when it went from a staging site to live into production, that tag just forgot to be removed. So that means that entire time that site's not getting indexed. So it's cool to have an audit just to catch those things. Everyone's human, everyone makes mistakes. Another thing about use of the site, Google's going to check in their Lighthouse scores for the color contrast, like I said, to make it as readable. In the age of dark mode everything, Google has opinions on readability, and color contrast has become more and more of a topic. So Google's already trying to get you to think about and optimize for people to be able to find you and use your site comfortably. But most importantly, are your users waiting? Nobody likes waiting. Everybody is impatient, especially on the internet. And I think a lot of times we think of the user experience for waiting as like time to first byte. And that's true. I mean, that is an important factor as well. But that's Google taking that a little step further than just when you start receiving your first byte of information from the server. And these are the paint categories that Google talks about in their Lighthouse reports. First paint, this is the time when the first pixel is painted onto the screen. So the background, for example, starts to load. When is the first content? That'll be the first contentful paint. So not the background, but content, like an image or text. And then the meaningful paint. Usually this, I see it kind of or relate to user interaction ability. So can I click on stuff? Is stuff moving? Is something like a call to action showing up? Something very prominent? And this really depends on the page. Sometimes you just don't have that stuff. Other times it's super obvious, and sometimes maybe Google doesn't see it. Lighthouse isn't perfect, but this whole period of when the paints are happening is Google trying to measure how long a user will have to wait before they can get in and use your site. So they are drawing a direct correlation to the usability of your site to how long you have to wait. So I decided for this talk to look at some local sites. These are all local Eugene sites here in Eugene, Oregon. You've probably been to one or three of them. Eugene Web Devs, which is the site for this meetup. EugeneTech.org, everyone's probably been there. And Eugene Code Camp, another cool site here in Eugene, helping people code. So random all through Lighthouse, let's take a look. First up is Eugene Web Devs. And these are my scores for my site, which I clearly have been neglecting. So 42 performance, 65 accessibility, SEO 77. Geez, these are just not that good. You can see it rendered on mobile, and I just ran the normal Lighthouse audit on it on my site. EugeneTech.org scores much better, much better. 71 performance, so room for improvement there, and 71 for best practice, definitely room for improvement there. All those scores, hey, they're in the green, so those are pretty good. And Eugene Code Camp, yeah, they're good. They're good. They got good scores here. So what's the difference, right? Like these are three different sites. They're not the same. They're the same builds. First off, one of the Eugene Web Devs is just HTML and JavaScript and CSS hosted on GitHub pages. EugeneTech.org is a WordPress install, and Eugene Code Camp is Vue.js. So the builds are different. These are three very different ways of building a website. So that's one big difference there. The number of images is not the same. Images are just they're just large resources that you have to load. And JavaScript optimization. The optimization for the JS on my site, not good, or probably not even done. Actually, we just kind of threw that site together off of a template. WordPress has its own JavaScript optimization issues sometimes, especially with plugins. You get multiple instances of the jQuery, for example, being loaded. And the JavaScript optimization happens in Vue automatically, so that probably really helps the scores there. So looking at those, the main issues for the two sites that didn't score that great, or my site didn't score that great, EugeneTech.org scored fine. Impact of third-party code for them and me. I saw on EugeneTech.org they have a lot of Google scripts loading up, analytics, Google AdWords, stuff like that. And that's third-party code that takes time to run. So that makes sense. Document does not have a meta description. We both forgot that. Easy fixes there. And those, just a couple things for them. I also have the impact of third-party code. I also have image elements, did not have any alt attributes. I did not add any of those because I just plain forgot. And front-end JavaScript libraries with known security vulnerabilities. Yeah, that's not one I like to see. So Lighthouse gave me some more in-depth analytics and stuff, and really this is their illustration of the series of paint. So that time to first paint is represented here on that white screen. It's there's a threshold, and if it's under the threshold, you'll see that blue. Basically, everything will shift over to the left as they're faster. So if it's under the threshold, then you won't see the white flash there, which you do on my site. And this is just as things load, the different paints that happen. There's a lot of other improvement suggestions they have, and they're all related to numbers here, milliseconds, seconds. So I decided to go for some simple fixes. I don't really want to overhaul the site. Not sure I really feel like it. If I do, I'll probably just rebuild the entire thing. But for now, just to get some research here on this Lighthouse scoring and how effective are their suggestions. So they're going to give you a lot of suggestions in the audit. So how effective are they on this course? So a document does not have a meta description. Super easy fix. Just put in a meta tag and write in the description. Underneath here, you see where it gives you a kind of a summary of what they're looking for and even a link to learn more. Almost all of them have summaries and links to learn more. And these links to learn more usually lead to either blog posts or just direct documentation of what they're talking about. So really easily you can get the resources you need to make your improvements if you don't know what to do. Um, but the real cool thing here is like this basically is Lighthouse making issues for you. So I just can turn this and I'm going to turn this into GitHub issues on my GitHub repo for the website, and people can just help me fix the site. So Eugene Web Dev Score improvements here. One of the big ones here was the images. Didn't really take any time to resize the images, and Google also suggested using WebP format instead of JPEG or PNG. So it's already very adopted on all the browsers. So sure, I'm just going to follow their suggestion here. I click their Learn More link, and I get taken to the article about WebP, and it goes through its whole thing and recommends the WebP npm package to convert my images, which I used. So they told me the issue. They told me how much time I could probably save, which is quite a few seconds off of the overall load. And they even pointed me in the direction of the tool I needed to make the conversion. So this is super useful. This was, I mean, it doesn't look any different, but the performance should be a lot better. Now this is the jQuery I was using for an AJAX request and to do that type effect where it says, we love Eugene, we love the web, and all that stuff. I was using an old version of jQuery that has a security vulnerability, which a lot of the old versions do. I could have just switched to a new version of jQuery and everything should have probably worked, but instead I decided to ditch jQuery and bring in two more specific smaller libraries, one for the text, and I think it's like type.js, and the other one for the AJAX call, which I used Axios. Even though I'm bringing in two different libraries, they're much smaller and actually really improved the page load speed, and got rid of the security vulnerability because jQuery is just, it's big and old. So beyond that, some other real simple fixes, adding the lang attribute to my HTML tag. The elements didn't have alt attributes, just add an alt attribute. And then I did some image resizing because some of them were just too darn big. So nothing major. I didn't really overhaul the site. I just did the most impactful, working through the list of Lighthouse suggestions, and I get a new score. So I forked my repo so that I could have them both to compare, and my score is dramatically improved with just those little things. There are still more suggestions that Lighthouse had, and one thing I did notice, some of them weren't always necessarily the ones I was going to follow. There was one about unused CSS, but it didn't really seem to be very impactful. Like I said, I didn't do all of the suggestions. Instead, I just did ones to get my scores up, and that's great. Now the scores on the website, the code has been changed and it's a little different. I moved some stuff around, but I didn't have to really overhaul it to get, scores in the 90s. And that's fine for now. But what about the future? Google's probably going to change their opinion on what best practices are. SEO opinions could change, or whatever they tell us. And there may be other practices and other JavaScript library vulnerabilities, all sorts of things. The internet's a dynamic place. So just because I fixed this once or improved once, that doesn't mean that it will always stay. Those scores will always be there. So you can keep Lighthouse watching with CI. So GitHub has an app for their continuous integration and their GitHub Actions to continually run Lighthouse on every pull request, or every push. So GitHub Actions makes it super dead simple, and you don't have to use GitHub Actions. You can use Travis or whatever CI tool you want. They all pretty much have something you can run a Lighthouse build in and a quick test. With GitHub, all I had to do was toss in a YAML file that says all the normal things. Run Lighthouse. We're going to run it on Ubuntu. This is in Node 10. This is just from Lighthouse's GitHub Actions repo, README. So run Lighthouse, essentially, that was pretty much it. You do have to get a key, and then you can put it in as an environment variable, but it really isn't a whole lot to get this going. After that, I did a push, and as soon as I did, I saw that it was running, and it ran on the push. And then I can go and retrieve the scores. So you can get a lot fancier and have this action report the scores right here, and even in the pull request, but I didn't set any of that up because I didn't really have time. If you don't want to do CI, like maybe the website doesn't change that much, you're not really working all the time, but you do want to check on it from time to time, you can use the Google Page Speed Insights API. It's just a REST call, and you just give it the URL that you want it to test, and it will return JSON with all the Lighthouse stuffs in it. This one returns, this is just a snippet, returned unminified CSS. So, and all these suggestions too, like minifying CSS, there's the description, some scoring, there's a lot of data in here. But you could just use the REST API to periodically check on your websites that you want to check on, or I guess if they're not your websites, but to see if anything has changed, if you're not going to be doing that many pull requests to it, or if it's not hosted somewhere, or if you're not using Git for whatever reason. Or you can run your own instance. So Headless Chrome is the thing. You can download and install Headless Chrome on any server you want and point it back at your site. Use Puppeteer as a higher level API to run Headless Chrome, and Headless Chrome will just have Lighthouse already built into it because it's built into all versions of Chrome, all the newer versions of Chrome, and you can return your scores that way. So if you want to make your own CI, or you just want your own box that you have a little more control or better reporting on, when did you get the scores, and you want to run it from your own IP or your own machine, yeah, you can run a Headless Chrome in Puppeteer and just automate that portion of it, just like a CI, but you don't need to set up Travis or GitHub pages or any of that stuff. So the takeaways here are, it's a cool comprehensive test from a very important source here. And it's Google. So the other thing is, it's easy to understand. You get really simple scores, 0 to 100. Everybody can get those. Clients can get those. Other devs get what the goal is here to get those scores up to 100, or as close as whatever threshold you decide. It's really easy to understand those scores, like I said. So that's another big takeaway. It still gives you the ability to do a deeper dive. You can start really getting into the different network calls, when assets are loading. It doesn't, just because it starts with a 0 to 100 score, doesn't mean that it ends there. You can go real deep with all the regular inspection tools. It's part of the inspection tool suite, so it works with all those. Continuous, it's available to be continuously run on a site if you want to, or if you don't. If you want something simpler like the page speed API, that's also a thing. Biggest takeaway, not a golden hammer though. So while it is cool to use and it does provide a lot of really good insights, it's maybe not right for every single site. Some exceptions are going to be, like, there are sites that really just don't care how performant it is. There's also, like what's a good example? Like Craigslist, I guess. They probably don't care about their scores. Also, if your application is behind, like a login, that's going to make it a little bit harder for Google to figure out what their scores are going to be. I think it might still work on, it'll still work in the browser, but you can't automate that unless you do the Headless Chrome. But like I said, it's not a golden hammer. It's not the be all end all of scores, because at the end of it, while it could help your page speeds and offer some really good improvements, it's not necessarily going to get you higher on Google's page search results pages. So don't think it's going to fix everything. But those are my takeaways. Thanks everybody for watching. Like, this was interesting talk. I chose this topic on purpose because it was pretty easy to convey over the internet. Usually we do a lot of the web devs talks. We do a lot of questions and answers now. I'm gonna check the stream. Let's see what we got here. Someone's blaming Bao. Yeah. Oh. Yeah, Safari is usually the last browser to jump into everything. They were the last ones to. I saw Ryan brought up Safari. They were the last ones to jump into the WebGL on mobile. I had that AR talk I mentioned earlier. I didn't do for like 3 or 4 months. I kept waiting for Safari to support just access to the front-facing camera via a web page, and they just didn't. So they're usually the last to the party. Ryan's asked if I can show us how to run it, and Luke also says that. Let's see if I can't do that. Give me 1 second here. Oh, okay. I'm trying to figure out how to do this. So I'd like to show how to run it, but I'm not exactly sure how I'm gonna. Let's see if I just do open a new browser. I am still getting used to all of the streaming stuff. Like I said, I'm used to the in real life. I don't think I can. I don't know how to cast my desktop in OBS. Is that a thing I can do? So I can tell you how to run it real quick while I'm trying to do this. The way to run it is to go into Chrome and oops, I think I just turned everything black. Share browser window. Okay, I'm gonna keep talking and try to figure that out. The way you can run it is to go into Chrome, right click and click inspect. And as soon as you click inspect, all the normal browser tools will come up, the inspection tools. Over to the far right, it'll say audit. Click on audit and it will just have the Lighthouse option there. Where's it's way back here. This thing. So if you open the inspector, auto will be the last tab, and you'll just generate a report. That's all you have to do. It's literally those two clicks to audit. Well, click to audit and a click to generate report after you right click, inspect, and then just inspect. Noah says I can define a scene that is a window. I probably can. Scene that's window capture. Okay. I need to do. Yeah, I'm not seeing the desktop because I can share a browser, but I can't share the inspection portion of it because that's not in the browser part, I believe. Right click on, let's about say about right click on source area. Window capture or browser. Yeah, I can't do the browser. The browser will just show me what's in the browser. It won't show me the inspection tools. It'll just show me the content of the browser. The scene I'm on right now is a browser scene. Pop it in the window. I'm showing the browser here, so I can't, that's not a desktop share. Luke says site I ran it on GoDaddy and probably timeout. There is a timeout actually. Oh, also if you are running it, you want to run it in run Lighthouse in incognito mode. Extensions will mess with this if you have extensions like anything that does DOM manipulation, like password manager or something like that. It will add JavaScript to the DOM, and then Google will rank you lower. All right. What else you got, stream? I'm gonna see if I can't figure this out still. Keep talking. Where is display capture? I thought that was a thing. Yeah, Luke. Yeah, you're definitely gonna want to do incognito mode. Lots of extensions will add to the DOM. Noah, click the, oh yeah. If your window's not big enough to see all of the tabs, Noah is mentioning that there will be 3 dots in a line for the other options in your dev tools, and that's true. So Luke asked about resizing the images. What did I use? I just used the Apple preview. Like I said, this wasn't a deep dive. I could probably do further optimization on it. I didn't compress them. I didn't run them through any sort of the program that would smush them down or anything like that even further. I probably could and get more performance out of that. I really wanted to run through the basics of Lighthouse here and just show how much just a little bit of effort really does in these scores. And overall page load time. My page load time's increased dramatically. And vertical stick is a bird. Oh, hamburgers and burgers. Thanks again to Sean for the incoming pizza. It's going to be great. I'm looking forward to that. Any other questions in stream? I'm not sure I can grab the, I got to learn a lot more OBS stuff, honestly. Oh, here we go. Bao Kim says, add a new display capture. Name it. You get to choose the screen. Okay. Display capture. It's not going to work. Yeah, it's not capturing that display. I know there's some display capture stuff that is different between Mac and PC. I don't know if that's the issue here, but I am not seeing a way to get just my display. Oh, you're welcome for the presentation, Joanna. Any other questions? Go ahead and toss them in here. Sacrifice your kick. I need a moderator to kick people out, Val. I thought that was going to be you. Sacrifices will work. Oh, geez. So yeah, I think 7:04. I think I'm going to end the stream now. I don't know if anyone's going to be doing the Zoom Thursday with Ryan. I'm not sure he's still doing that because I kind of took over his slot. If anybody wants to jump on a Zoom, you probably know how to find me. And if you want to talk about this any some more. This is already recorded, so it'll be here on YouTube. I'm going to update the GitHub repo I have for this with links to all the things I mentioned here, all the resources, and as many other getting started and continuous stuff that I could find on Lighthouse. So link will be in the description. Oh, I forgot I'm on YouTube, so I'm supposed to say hit the like button if you enjoyed this content, and smash subscribe, smash that. Noah says I got a question earlier about resizing tools. Like I said, I didn't really use any specific resizing tools. I just used the preview that I have on Mac. Right click display capture. Okay. Let me go back to the other scene. And y'all really want to see this browser. And then what was it? Transform. What? Transform. Fit to screen. Yeah, that didn't do anything, man. All right. Like I said, I'm not gonna try it. I'll figure out next time. I promise I'll be able to work all this stuff a lot better. This was my first run. Thanks for bearing with me while I don't know ABS stuff. I can be okay, cool. All right, guys. Well, I'll see you next time. I'll announce any new web devs talks on Meetup still, even though they're not in real life, and of course here on this YouTube channel. So thanks, everybody. Stay safe out there. We'll see you later.